So we look at ourselves like a kind of a Lego set that's been rebuilt so many times that we no longer feel like we're fit for purpose. That we know that we're supposed to look like the dragon that's the picture on the box, but we also know that we've got a tail that's half as long as it used to be, and one of our horns is now a sword from a different set, and we've got a wheel instead of a leg, and we look at ourselves and go, I'm not really fit for purpose. This isn't what life in Christ is supposed to be like, right? But that's not how God sees us. His mercies are new every day. Every day. We have an opportunity to be made new once again. Every day we come to the cross once again. Every day, every morning we can come back to Jesus and say, God, I know I messed up that thing yesterday, but I'm falling on your grace and your mercy for today. God, would you be with me today? Would you help me be who I am today? We don't have to carry the burden of what happened yesterday, because every day we could be made new in Christ Jesus. And that gives me hope, gives me boldness, gives me confidence, because it's not about me anymore. It's not about whether or not I'm good enough or I've got it right enough. It's all about Jesus and what he has done and what he is doing in me. We are made new, transformed by the gospel. Jesus came to rescue and restore, and he's done it in me, and I'm sure he's done it in you. But before we can go and share the gospel, we need to have received that gospel, and we need to be transformed in our own lives. Not just once when we were saved, but every day. You know, Romans talks about be transformed by the renewing of your mind, doesn't it? There's other verses talk about we're being transformed more and more into the likeness of Christ. That's who we are. Every day, a new opportunity to shine for Jesus. Our identity and our purpose are in Christ. I'm getting excited. I'm going way off track. I need to move on. But you get the point. Jesus has done it all, but he has also done it all in me. I can stand tall, stand firm, and stand proud in Christ Jesus. And if that's true, if my identity and purpose is in Jesus, then number two is that we are then called to go, to be Christ's ambassadors. There's no surprise that I would stand here as someone who leads a gospel ministry. We've been talking to you about going out and sharing the gospel. But these verses in 2 Corinthians talk about how we are Christ's ambassadors. And I love what that means. An ambassador, I don't know if we've got any ambassadors in the church, but an ambassador, certainly in the global scene, an ambassador is a really important role. Think about it. So an ambassador is somebody who is appointed by the ruling government, or in our case, the ruling government who's appointed by the king. So let's stick with that analogy. So an ambassador for the UK is appointed by the king to go and live in a foreign land not their own. Sound familiar? That's who we are as Christians. So the ambassador goes to live in a land not their own. That ambassador is the highest ranking official for that country, for our country in that place. They have authority to speak. They're not just kind of like chatting to people on the streets. If the country they're in wants to know what our king thinks about a situation, they call the ambassador in. Say, what does your king say about this situation or this situation or what's going on in this part of the world? They speak on behalf of the king into that nation and to those people and to that government. They protect the citizens of their kingdom who are in that place. They grant access. They do all sorts of things. But most importantly, I love that when an ambassador is sent, they are not sent to speak their own mind, as it were. They are sent to speak on behalf of the king who sent them. And if the king wants to say something, he'll tell the ambassador, and the ambassador will say it to that country. This is what our king says about this situation. Friends, that's who we are in Christ. We are not weak. We are not wrong-footed. We are not in the wrong place. We are here in this country. This is not our country. Our heavenly home is our country, right? We understand that. That's the kingdom that we belong to. But we are here, foreigners in this land, But we are here as ambassadors for Christ. We carry the authority of the King wherever we go. Whether that's to the corner shop or to the school pickup or to the coffee morning, wherever it is, the workplace that you're in, the family home that you find yourself in, we're ambassadors for Christ in those situations, as though God were making his appeal through us. How are we representing Jesus in those places? We're his ambassadors. But with that, we also have his authority, and that's important too. We're not just sent like, oh, how am I going to cope? We are sent in his authority. We speak with the authority of the throne room of heaven. And that is powerful. It means, again, we don't have to do it in our own strength. We can go in the confidence that Jesus has given us. So,